All right. All right. So this one's going to be a special one, right? Hold on. Before I do that, let me just make sure that everything is. Yep. Okay. Everything's good. Can you speak real quick?
Yep.
Oh,
Hello.
okay. Yeah. Let me just turn the volume down. But yeah, no, that should be fine. Okay. So this is going to be a special review, isn't it? Because you did not give me a rank for this, so I am going to be guessing this rank. Is that right?
That is right.
Okay, okay, all right, that's gonna be fun. But I'm also gonna be coaching this. Now, I did kind of watch this already, so that I can have like a little bit of an idea as to like what to talk about in terms of, things that we could work on and things not. But I still have not figured out the rank yet. So I'm gonna try and see if I can not only coach you, sure, but also give you kind of some ideas or perspectives as to my thought process as to how I can identify this rank a little bit. So let's
All right.
first start this out. What? You need something?
No. I said all right. Let's
Okay,
get
okay.
into it.
And there's no other questions about anything?
Nothing for me.
All right, let's do this. Okay. Ball, Curie, Juno, Soldier versus Monkey, Lucio, Cass, Bastion, Baptiste. Okay. All
You're
right.
not streaming, by the way.
Oh, my bad. Let me do that. Let me do that really quickly. Apologies. There it is. Okay. Now that should work. Can you see the stream?
Yep.
OBKB. All right. Let me first talk about this. So one of the things that we kind of needed to focus on from this game, and one of the things that we're kind of working on, is cooldown usage, right? I want to look at how you're using your blinks and how you're using your recall, because from what I've seen beforehand, I don't necessarily think that it's the most efficient option, right? There's a lot of times where you could probably be getting away with doing certain things with using less blinks and less recall. Now let me ask you this question: how do you kind of get value on Tracer? What does Tracer like to do?
Uh, Holding side lanes, creating pressure. Pretty much just push and pull with the opposite lanes. Like if they're
Okay.
not looking at me, then I'm walking in. If they're looking at me, I'm just backing and letting my other lane get value.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Right. So what's your effective range on Tracer?
Pretty close.
Yeah, close range, close range, right? Stereotypical close range character, right? We want to be playing on close range. We want to be playing on off angles, and we just want to be just applying constant pressure, taking space, and annoying the crap out of the enemy team. Okay, right. So now, have you watched any of my other videos or any of my other content before this, or?
No, like a little bit.
Okay.
Not much though.
Okay. So let me kind of, I want to kind of paint a picture for you, right? So, how important? Let me just ask you, how important is playing to your effective range, especially on a character like Tracer?
Very important.
Like, yeah, extremely, super important. If you're not playing to your effective range, especially against things like Bastion, like Cass, Baptiste, right? Then like you're just going to have a very, very awkward time doing much of anything, right? It's going to be very annoying for you to do literally anything when you're not playing into your effective range, because not only are they going to be doing a whole bunch of damage to you, but you're not going to be doing damage back to them, right? So maintaining your effective range is an extremely important thing. However, when it comes to effective range, now Tracer kind of is a little bit special in this regard, because she can close the distance, and she can continue to keep closing the distance no matter how long they back up. But that's not necessarily, that's pretty costly. It's pretty expensive because she's utilizing her blinks in order to do that, right? If and if she doesn't really have the blinks and the enemy just keeps on continuing backing away from her, then they can maintain that range, do a whole bunch of damage to the Tracer, and especially in situations where you really want to be really right in someone's face, them constantly backing away does kind of make it a little bit problematic, especially now that they have like a Lucio or something, right? So and a big part of this is that you want to keep maintaining pressure, but you also want to not take as much damage as possible. So a very big important concept here is to force your effective range, right? Now, me saying forcing your effective range, what ideas come to mind as to how you could possibly try and force your effective range with somebody?
Get on them quicker.
Uh,
Don't blink across like large amounts of space and stuff, so they don't have time to like see me. So by the time I'm actually fighting, I'm already close.
yeah, sure, but how expensive is that, right? You're kind of
Well, it
using
shouldn't be too expensive if I'm setting up for a pre-fight, right?
right. If you're setting up for a pre-fight and then you kind of go in, but even when you're on top of people, right? Like even when you haven't used any blinks and you're fighting on people, let's say that you're like fighting out here, right? If you stop using blinks for any period of time, you're still going to get shot at and you're going to die, right? Because they're going to just try and walk away, get their effective range, make some distance, and then start shooting at you. So you're going to be using a blink to like blink through them this way, right? Or blink through them this way. But again, every single time you do that, it's going to cost blinks. So even if you have full blinks and recall before you get to a position, going and fighting people is going to take blinks, which is okay, but sometimes it might not be optimal. So how could we potentially try and force situations where we're in our effective range, where they don't have the capacity to get out of our effective range that much, right? Without, running the risk of using blinks, right? What are you thinking?
Syncing with my ball.
Syncing with your ball, that is also very important, right? And that's definitely something that could help. But there's one more thing. Okay, let's think about it this way, right? When I'm fighting this Cass, how do I stop myself from getting shot in the face?
Playing around a wall.
Play around a wall, right?
Shoot them when they're not looking at me.
Okay, shoot them when you're not looking at you, play around a wall, blink through them, right? So we talked about blinking through, and we talked about the fact that, okay, that's kind of expensive. We don't want to do that all the time. It's still good, but we don't want to do that every single time we take a fight with somebody, right? So, but then you're like, okay, let's play around a wall. What walls can I, not always going to be perfect. Now, this feels comfortable. This feels fine, right? But if you're out somewhere like here, playing around a wall doesn't necessarily feel the greatest because now I'm playing back here and playing around here. Am I in my effective range, right? No, right? So what's different between being out here in some place like this than being, someplace like, I don't know, here or something, right? In terms of like using a wall, if you're fighting only like this cast or something, right? Do you kind of see the issue? I mean, not the issue, but you kind of see the advantageous difference here?
Yeah, it's closer.
Yes. The space is closer range, right? So when we're trying to fight as Tracer and we're trying to kind of go and set up for these fights and these engagements, the spaces that you want to play around are close range spaces, because even if I'm fighting out away from cover on this cast over here, the second that the cast looks at me to shoot at me, I can blink right here and now I'm back in cover and now I'm shooting at Bastion, and if I just use another blink that I'm in cover again. And once I'm here, I can just wait. I can just sit here and wait and get my blinks back and then go back in again. Right? If I'm playing out here, there's not really much, things for me to do over here that's going to help to a significant degree. And so this is kind of the space that we would want to avoid, because if I'm fighting in here, I'm going to be using all of my blinks and my recall, right? But there's another thing that you kind of stated earlier, which is like, okay, if I don't want to use a whole bunch of my blinks and my recall, I'll go in with my ball, right? Okay, so your ball is going to go in and slam on them, and then if I go in with the ball, then while all their attention is away from me, I can do a whole bunch of damage onto them. Or if their attention is coming to me, then my ball is going to be able to do a whole lot more damage for free. And then we're timing everything in sync that way. What's going to happen is these guys are either going to die fast before you're able to use a whole bunch of blinks, or you're not going to have to use much blinks at all because they're not going to be looking at you, right? So that's also another way of saving blinks. There's where you're taking fights, and there's also, timing your engages with your team. And that way you're going to be able to save your blinks, save your recall. And then overall, there's, just the other large way of like where you're not wasting your resources is just by, not wasting them, right? Like planning out your blinks, or at least executing well enough on your blinks so that you're not using more than you need in certain circumstances. And we can look at that as well, right? But the main things that we're going to be talking about are going to be centered around positioning or placement and timing, right? And we're going to see how that works. So let me slow this kind of down to 1x speed here. And if we see this space that you're trying to take a fight in, right? Like you're trying to fight this cast and trying to fight this bastion, does this space give you kind of the effective range that you want? Does it force the effective range you want?
No.
No, right? So now if we look at what happens, right, you kind of try to blink in here to get a better range, and then you're like, oh wait, man, this doesn't feel great, so I'm gonna blink back, right? So that's 3 blinks that's been used already, and you haven't really even been in the fight. Now, if you wanted to do this a different way, if you wanted to kind of stage in a different way here, so that you can get into the fight with your ball when your ball goes in, but you don't have to use like 30,000 blinks, where could you be?
Mega left side.
Mega left side, over here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You can play up here, then use this, fight Lucio, fight Winston up here, or, maybe shoot Baptiste if you're up here. I would say that this is a little bit dangerous because this sight line is very long. But if no one's here, no one's controlling this, and this is totally fine because, again, this is your space, right? So you can control the space over here pretty comfortably. Give me one more answer.
I mean, there's mini on the right too, but I think I would have been too slow to hit with my ball. That was my idea behind why I was blinking in there a little bit.
Right. To being too slow to hit with your ball in that case, I think is totally fine because your ball's realistically kind of just going in early, and I don't necessarily think that he's it's less of a, you don't really have the opportunity to just kind of blink in through here, right? So if that opportunity is kind of off the table, then this rotating here and just waiting for your ball's next engage is fine, right? So
yeah, I think I should have shot Monkey instead. I probably would have killed him.
Oh, okay. We could try and shoot Monkey, but from where? Where are we going to shoot Monkey from?
From behind the red thing, their push or our push.
Right. So we can try and use this cover here, just poke at the Monkey a little bit, then maybe blink in here later, and then blink over here.
Like wall balls on their back line.
Yeah. Exactly. At least if we get the timing right, then a lot of these options feel a little bit more comfortable because there's going to be a lot less pressure on us, right? So this first kind of blinking thing, you saw your ball was in, you're like, oh, I need to kind of go in and do something. But if we realistically think about it, you're not in position to do any of those things. So don't. If you're not in the position to do anything, don't. Focus on getting that positioning first. Don't try and force the value. That's just going to be the first thing that we're going to talk about. Don't force it, right? Because now look at that. Monkey jumps on you, recall's forced, and you only have 1 more blink left. Right? Okay. Ball goes in. You're up here. Again, this feels a little uncomfortable in terms of your space, right? Little uncomfortable. Now, okay, let me go to you. All right, so you blink in, you kind of pressure him, he drops off, and this is fine, and now you're going and shooting a Bastion or something, right? Okay. All right. That was how many kills that you get there. That's a lot. That was quite a bit. All right. So we got Baptiste over here. Shooting at Baptiste. Shooting at Bastion. Right? Shooting at Cass. Right? Shooting at Lucio. Right. So we went in with our ball, we shot at all of those people, and you kind of see how every single time we fought, we were in a place where we can have that close range engagement, and they didn't really have the ability to kind of get out of that effective range and, make their effective range more powerful. You get what I mean? That's what we're going to be focusing on a lot more. Okay? Now, if we're talking about guess the rank right here, right? In my kind of idea of this, what I'm seeing is this initial rotation here, and understanding that you kind of want things to happen, right? Not necessarily perfect on the execution. And what that kind of means is you responded that, okay, timing needs to happen. And you also kind of looked in and said, okay, I need to go in, but this doesn't feel comfortable, so I'm just going to kind of blink out. So it means that you have at least a little bit of a brain. So there's that. We like to see that, nice. And that's gonna make me kind of go a little bit more towards the upper end. All right. Okay. All right, now let me look at this Baptiste. And I also like the discipline on waiting for the heals also as well, instead of just going right back into the Baptiste. All right. Good job with that. Okay. Now, here's the next part. Here's the next part we're thinking about. Okay, if we are kind of number one, only one person needs to be on the bot in order to push it. It doesn't have variable speed, like whatever, like the payload maps and push payload maps in hybrid, right? So if we're thinking about the next fight, right? We want to take space so that we're just kind of walking and holding here by the time they get here so that the fight starts, as opposed to having to take the space ourselves, because taking space from the enemy team is always going to be more expensive than taking it for free, right? That being said, you need to get off the cart like right now, right? You got to figure out where you want to be, where this fight's going to start, and where you're going to try and do this. So let me ask you this. Where do you think the fight is going to be?
Probably Mega, right side.
Yeah, probably Mega right side. Okay, so what space are you probably going to be trying to stage in to try and fight on Mega?
The window.
Yeah, sure. Right, like here. Right.
Yeah.
Hold here. Wait. If they start, wait until see what they were going to do. Try and hold the space a little bit if you need to. If not, you can just like chill like right here, and then this could also be fine as well, right? Okay. But we need to really, really start getting there, because if you're here like now, right, not peaking yet, but if you're here now, it's going to be real easy for you to just get in once they start spilling out this way.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, if we look at these mechanics here, right? Okay. First of all, I know you're kind of pushing cart, but you're way too close. Right? You acknowledge that, right? Like, this is like way too close. They're going to start diving on me. I want to start getting into position for my next fight here, right? So, again, we're probably not going to be able to get this exact position now, right? But if we're kind of thinking about places where we could set up for this fight, we could just chill down here for now. We could chill back here and just hold this, right? Or potentially we could go and make this all the way, rotate all the way up here, but this is a long time. This takes a long time, right? So a lot of the kind of great, really awesome positions that you could be staging in are kind of been compromised, and now you can't really get into those positions solely because of the fact that you kind of like sat on bot here. So that's something that you need to think about. Tracer is really good at kind of pushing payload in like really coordinated environments where everyone else is already doing something. The rest of your team was doing absolutely nothing. That should have been their responsibility, not yours, right? Okay, now if we look at this though, all right? Okay, shoot at the monkey, blink away, right? But then you're like, oh, monkey jump, so I'm going to recall back here. But you see how you kind of went and used like 2 blinks and a recall already? And it ended up right back in the same spot? How would you have done that differently?
Blink to the tunnel behind me.
Okay, maybe, yeah. Blink to the tunnel behind you.
Or just blink through to my ball.
Or blink through to your ball. I don't know about that. This
play the left side.
This seems a little unnecessary. I don't think that's going to give you a significant advantage in that context, right? Or, differently, what if you just blinked back sooner, right? Away sooner. The only reason why this feels horrible is because you blinked in an instance where the monkey was already on top of you, dealing damage to you when you ran out. You get it? You already got close. You got cleared out of the space, ran back out. Monkey was already there, as opposed to you being able to set up beforehand. So now when you blink away, his next step, jumping right onto you. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. Right? Now, when this is kind of going to be a big thing as well, right? You won the fight out here. You need to be thinking about what's the next step and what's my response for that, right? So right here, we won this fight. Next step, maybe getting to somewhere like here, or just getting somewhere else where I can stage, like maybe over here, sitting here, and then blinking back up this way. You know, once things happen, or just sit right here, just stay right here and wait for the fight to come through, right? That's my next step. I'm sitting on cart. These guys start peeking and poking at me, right? Okay, they start walking up this way, which means that the fight's going to be starting soon. So what's my next step, right? Probably staging somewhere.
Yeah.
This was a little bit too late. So even though you did kind of hit the monkey, you end up with no blinks and no recall. Right. So now what can you do now in the fight? What's your next step now?
Going probably bridge, maybe right side. I could also just play point next to my ball.
Right, but with
It's
what
like
blinks?
really hard for them to walk out.
Right, but with what blinks? Right, with what blinks?
Well, I wanted to get to the tunnel, and then I can just walk left side.
Yeah. Now you can kind of just you can't get to the tunnel and walk left side, but at the same time, like if we see how quick the fight's going to be evolving soon, right? Like things are going to be happening like now. Monkey just went in and died. Bastion's in Terraform. These guys are kind of walking out. They're kind of sprawling out, doing their things. Like realistically speaking, we should have been. If we were here right now, like this would have been awesome, right? Like you would shoot over here, do some damage, pull attention this way. Ball would probably go in and on a slam timing down this way, and then you would just kind of chill, right? Like you would sit here, wait for an opportunity, go and start shooting on backline when ball slams in, and then we have like maybe Soldier up here on an angle already shooting at that, and then that would be beautiful. That would be amazing. Problem is that we didn't kind of do any of the necessary preparations for that, and so now we don't have that next step, right? Okay. All right. Now, pushing cart here in this context is fine because, like, where else are you going to realistically be? And everyone else is kind of staged on their own places, right? But again, once they start getting, seeing where the cart's going to be, once they start walking up here and they start shooting out this way, what's your next step?
Probably play bottom, like in that little room.
Right. Like right here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just shoot point.
Exactly, and then shoot point. And why is shooting point going to be so important?
Because it's getting checkpoint. It's also very, very hard for them to stay there with the Soldier high ground with Curie.
Yeah. They are already. that they're going to be coming to point because this is their final goal. This is their end goal. So you're just positioning yourself here. So this is pretty much going to be like an anticipatory positioning for when they jump in. So you're already kind of going to be at your effective range at that point, right? Right, ball gets forced out. We kind of decide to kind of go this way. This is fine. Okay, now what's the problem with this? What do you think?
Maybe a little early.
Why would you say it's early? What makes it early?
Because my ball hasn't slammed yet, so they have the time to turn and check me before ball comes in.
Okay, sure, your ball hasn't slammed yet, right? But also, if we kind of think about it, right? What is Kiriko, Brig, and Soldier able to do in this scenario?
I mean, nothing in the room.
Right.
I'm just pushing cart, holding space.
Right. So is doing this and getting this early hit out here, really going to be a good thing? Because again, like, you and Ball are going in like 1v4 practically, right? So realistically speaking, you're probably going to lose blinks and recall, right? Ball's probably going to lose his armor, maybe his like adaptive shields going in on this engage. And what is your team really going to get from that?
Well, I think the goal is to force cooldowns because we can get ours back faster than they do.
Right.
Maybe we should just wait for them to go point.
Right. I wouldn't necessarily say wait for them to go point. I think an early hit is fine. It's just that, again, it's like it's more of just like, okay, we have to be thinking about it. Sure, early hit is good, but I am literally taking a 2v5 situation right now. Right. So it's like we have the off angles, we have the situation where we can take attention away, we can potentially try and go and force cooldowns, but the second that this cast turns around, flashes me, and then hits me with a headshot, I'm cooked. Right? Even if he misses the headshot, right? Or if he just starts looking at me this way, if two of these people look at you in the same time and you don't blink or recall in time, you're cooked. right? Because a lot of attention is able to go on you all at once. And I don't know if this ball is going to hit his slam properly. I don't know. Yeah, that definitely did not happen.
He's pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say anything about that because I'm not really coaching him, but
that's my duo.
Okay. Oh yeah. No, he's absolutely garbage. No. It's okay. It's okay. But at the same time, it's just like, right, early hit, not horrible idea, but you want to make sure that you're doing it in a situation that's a little bit more favorable for you guys, especially like, again, if we have Brig, Kiriko, and Soldier able to contribute at the same time, or at least do something of value at the same time, then like you doing this early hit and forcing cooldowns before they even get there is going to be really strong. Problem is that they're in a position right now where they're going to just force a 2v5 scenario. So this is not great. All right, because again, once you get forced out of this position, which is going to be inevitable, what's your next step going to be if they decide, hey, right, these guys are out, let's just speed on point now, right?
Yeah, well, I think we just fight point then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, shouldn't our Soldier and Brig still be high ground?
100%. Well, Soldier's on point, or Brig and Soldier actually both dropped, but you know, that's whatever. Now, if we look. But the thing is, like, if we look at you didn't necessarily lose much, but your ball has no slam and no adaptive. Well, he's gonna get adaptive back. But at the same time, like, you're kind of, this ball's out and needs to get his staging back. You're kind of out and need to get your staging back. You're going to be a little bit faster, but these guys are going to speed down here, and then the fight's going to happen on point before your ball's able to realistically do much. Right? This is kind of the issue of like the early hit. And again, not only that. These guys also, we have to account for how, you know, bad they are to a certain respect, right? Turning around, shooting, right? Maybe potentially pushing you out, or what if they hit more shots on ball, or Bastion actually hit his turret form properly and ball lost a chunk of armor, then he would have to get out, right? You would have to get out or die, and then they would just take point space for free. You get what I mean? Don't give them the opportunity for that to happen. Make sure that if you are going to execute a hit like this, that they at least have something to lose from like an angle up here. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Winston takes space that way. Push cart. They drop. Okay. Right, and then this isn't just another thing that I'm talking about right here, right? Like you hit the pulse bomb, right? And then you blink out and then recall, right? Either hit the recall or hit the blink out, right? Don't try to
Yeah, that's like an
layer
issue I have with pulse bomb. Like every time I pulse, I feel like I need to recall, but I shouldn't. I need to stop doing that.
Right. Okay. But in this scenario, because again, if you really think about it, like the value of hitting a pulse on something, especially if you stick it, right, versus the value of a recall, I think that that's still a fair trade. It's just that you have to think about it like if I just like blink back here, am I going to be in any danger? Well, maybe not, right? But maybe I might be if like they had somebody coming in back from this side. So it's like, okay, am I just going to blink and do I think I'm going to be safe, or am I going to recall? What you do is you decide essentially both, but that just puts you down 2 cooldowns, right? Okay. Nice slam. Nice damage off this slam. Go and walk in. Okay. And then we just clean up. Right. So far, so decent for your team. I'm not going to say that your team has done anything too stupid, but staging for backline. Okay. Right. Now, what's the problem here?
I just went early.
No, I don't necessarily think it's early. No, it's definitely not early, right? Because this is happening here. We're popping ults here. We're taking fights over here, right? If you stall Lucio and Cass from being able to kind of contribute in this fight, this is going to be a positive trade for us. So this is not early, right? And the reason why I say that is because the real kind of big picture here is that the distance between the enemy monkey and your team the distance between your ball and this bastion is extremely close, so it means that these guys aren't going to be able to run away from your team's damage. If you get close to these guys and just kind of make it to and force them to be in a situation where they have to pay attention to you, then these guys will be safe, or at least will be able to do damage a lot safer and a lot better. The problem is, how are you going to maintain that attention?
Wait, I feel like I was still early. Wait, their monkey kind of just trolled. He went even earlier than I did. Like,
Yeah.
ideally, he should be waiting for his team to walk up, right?
Yeah, 100%.
That's what I thought he was doing. Like, I didn't know he was in already.
Right. But then you're also kind of stopping the Lucio from like speeding over there and beating. Right. And not only that, your ball is right here, so you're stopping the cast from shooting at ball. Right. So it's not necessarily, I'm not necessarily saying that you're particularly early. Technically not going in right now could have been fine too. But this isn't necessarily bad. The reason why this sucks is not necessarily because of the timing, but if you really think about it, where are you going to go after this? What's the next step?
I mean, I can go back left still, like up the staircase, or I can just wrap back point on the monkey.
Right. But at the same time, it's just kind of like, this is not really my space, right? So I can maybe try and hit a blink up here, and then maybe another blink over here, or move out this way or whatnot. But if we really kind of think about it, right now you're kind of out in the open, and the more moments and more opportunities you put yourself out in the open like this, is the easier it's going to be for Cass to hit this headshot, right? So this isn't great. This doesn't feel great, right?
Should I have gone like inside instead?
Right. Like imagine if you're inside here, or even just like even if you're just down here or staged up here, right? Then once things happen and you start shooting, you're still in cover, so you can just back off if you take damage, right? Just hold the space. And not only that, the benefit of that is that if this cast wants to kind of walk through here to kind of go and shoot at your back line, you're able to be able to stop him and intercept him before that happens. And in a space like this, right, tight space like this, where it's hard for the cast to be able to force his effective range on you, then in these situations, the tracer duel between cast and tracer is relatively 50-50, right? Honestly, maybe even more into the tracer's favor, right? So this would be really, really strong staging, which would give you a really nice next step, no matter what you did. Like, I mean, you could even double blink on this Baptiste and start dueling him here, right? Or at least forcing some cooldowns from him, like force him to pop in more maybe, right? But from where you are, your options are extremely limited, and you're not really doing much. So that's kind of to say that when I'm going to decide how I'm going to play this next fight, I need to be thinking about my staging position before it even comes to that. What gives me the most options and what gives me the best strength, the best advantages in this fight, and I need to get to that position now. You kind of went to a half okay position when in reality this is going to be better. And the reason why this is better and this is not is because this is your space. So if you want to be thinking about how you're going to be staging for a given fight, you need to think what close quarter spaces are available to me and which one am I going to use to stage for this next fight, right? And if that's the case, and if you're thinking like that, then like how many options do you really have?
2.
What do you think the 2 are?
Left side building and right side building.
Right, these 2 buildings?
Yeah.
Okay. What if I said in here?
I feel like that's way too far away.
It's far away from
now. A lot of open space to get onto their team.
Right. It's far away from now. But again, it allows you to poke here, at least keep these guys' attention back this way. If they rush straight through, then you kind of can get to control the space out here. It also allows you to make this rotation down this way if necessary. This isn't necessary. Again, it's not going to be as good as the other ones. It's not going to be as good as those other spaces, but it's not bad. If you and your ball had a plan to kind of, do an early hit and spawn, like you could just honestly minefield and spawn and take out both of these guys, right? Or at least first beat early. Right, then like if that was your plan, then staging here would be fine, because it would give you that kind of ability to engage in, right? And especially after these guys are engaging on your team, like that could be fine as well, right? If your plan is to take the fight right over here, then staging here would be great, or staging up here would be great. But you know, this place would be a little bit hard to get to, right? You know, if you had the time to make like really big rotations, if you had infinite time in the world, somewhere like back here could also be something that you can consider as well. If you know that they're going to try and take space like over here or out here, you can position yourself somewhere like here so that you can, you know, take it. But all of these spaces are close range spaces, right? All of them are close range spaces. So if you're going to be thinking about where you're going to be staging, you're going to be thinking about the close range space first, right? So if we look at this, blink in, shoot, great, right? Blink out. Oh wait, after one blink, after like, you know, just like 2 blink cycles, right? I'm still not in safety. Right? So I'm like, okay, now let me blink this way. And I'm like, okay, but they can still kind of get to me, right? So I'm just going to keep walking out here and whatnot, right? This doesn't necessarily feel like a perfect timing, right? Now, if we look at what their cast was doing this entire time, like, right? If we looked at that, right? He's shooting at your ball. He did another shot onto your ball when you started shooting him from over here. Turned away. His crosshair was in a horrible spot after he turned away. Shot at a light post. Like, this guy, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Yappy Barra, but you got to work a little bit on that. Now, if he had a little bit better mechanics, could he have potentially forced out CDs from you really early here?
Yeah.
Right. Right. And that's what we want to avoid. We want to avoid giving them this opportunity in the slightest. Right. Okay. All right. And then not only that, we also run right back into Winston, but I'm not going to bully you for that one. Okay. All right. And then your team's already dead because, you know, right. Like the trade already happened. The trade already started. They already popped all of their ultimates, but it took you like a really long time for you to actually get into a position where you could actually do something meaningful, because you did like very little damage over here, which is another reason as to why playing out here sucks, because you can't force your effective range out here, right? So you did just pretty much, you know, no damage. You had no kill threat at all. So we're just going to chill here. This is fine. Staging here is fine. Right? Ball goes in kind of early. Whatever. Right. Again, what's the problem?
Space?
Right. Open space. How are you going to try and do this? How would you do this a little bit differently?
Wrap all the way left.
Right. Okay. Like wrap like all the way left. Right.
Yeah, play mini room.
Play mini room, sure.
Like not that one, the further left.
Or further left,
mini room, the other side mini room.
Right. Or in like not like that. No, other side mini room.
Like
You mean like all the way around here? Yeah.
Play that entire space.
Right. Maybe. Yeah, sure. Another cool thing about this is that you can also think about balls like engages, like especially when he engages early, as like a trigger to give you the opportunity to rotate to get the staging that you want, right? Because if he kind of goes in and takes attention off of you here, you can use the attention that he takes off of you to be like, okay, now I can take this space without people looking at me. Because if ball wasn't here and you just decided to start just blinking straight through in front of the rest of the enemy team, what do you think they're realistically going to do in that scenario? Right? They're going to walk on you.
Shoot him.
Exactly. Yeah. So if ball's going in, instead of just immediately going, oh man, I gotta like, you know, trade off of this, you can trade off of it in a different way, right? Whereas instead of getting the resources out of the enemy team and forcing the resources out of the enemy team, you can put yourself in better positions to force resources out later, which is also equally valuable, right?
Okay.
Right. And again, how many blinks do we use here, right? So we blink in. Still can't force effective range. We blink out again. They pop ults. Even if they didn't pop ults, we still need to blink out. I'm sorry. When I see this is horrifying, right? I don't care that I'm 250 HP because I have overhealth right now, right? This is horrifying. This is a window with a Lucio, Baptiste, Bastion, freaking Cassidy, like 4 people able to shoot at me with no cover out here, right? If I don't blink this in time, I'm dead. I am cooked. It is over, right? So you got to watch out for putting yourself in positions like that. Okay? What do you think about this staging?
I feel like this is fine. I just probably went a little too early, maybe.
Okay. Do you
Maybe
okay?
not. I mean, neither of them are even
Right.
looking at me.
Let's look at the timing though. Right. What did Ball just do?
Wait, is Ball leaving or coming in right now?
Well, I mean, like he just kind of like put mines on point. So I mean, he's probably
Yeah, he's
going to be
going
coming
in.
back. Right.
My timing's pretty nice then.
Right. Exactly. So Ball is doing something. Right. Is Soldier in a position to be able to do something in a second?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Kiriko, is she in a position to do something?
Yeah, I think this is fine for me then.
Right. And Brig is just chilling here. I mean, Brig is kind of like one of the exceptions is to that rule, but it's totally fine for you to be here. And the reason why it's fine for you to be here, if we look at it, is are you in a space that allows you to force your effective range?
Yeah.
Yeah, to a significant degree, yes. Are you shooting at the exact same time as your team?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, to be honest, it doesn't matter what you do here, unless you like royally screw up, you're probably still going to get some decent value off of this. Okay, I stand corrected. Right, you blink here. This is kind of like you just kind of ran in here without information at this point, where it's just like, okay, like you kind of just chill here. You probably need to just like fight what's over here on your angle, at least like chill in the corner for a second. Now this is a little bit dangerous, but realistically speaking, this isn't horrible of an idea. You just need more information. You can't just run straight into the enemy team like that. But even still, you're still fine. Okay. Right. Again. Right. Winston jumps out. Next time you see this encounter the situation, you're like, oh yeah, Winston's 1 HP. You question yourself, where is he jumping to? Is it space that I can control? If the answer is no, leave him. Right? Okay. Leave him. Because again, oh, high noon cast, I'm good. But then how many blinks do you have? Right, 0. So now are you in position to really do anything out here this way? No, right? Okay. Now, when we talk about staging, I don't necessarily think that where you are is the worst place possible. I still don't think it's the best. Right. Now, let me ask you this. This space right over here, right? Like there's a little bit to the, to a different direction of where you currently were. If you were sitting this space over here, does this give you your effective range, the ability to force your effective range?
Yeah.
Right. Do you think you should stage here?
Might be like a little deep, but I feel like this room's fine in general.
Are you sure about that? Trust your gut. What does your gut say about this room?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, what do you think is going to happen when you stage in this room?
I mean, they might try to walk me, but then I can just blink out. That's why I said it might be a little deep.
Right.
Like I could have played the start of it.
Right. So they're going to walk you, and then you can just blink out, right? But again, do we want to use the blinks?
I mean, I think it's fine here, because if they walk me and I just blink and they play in the room, then my soldier can rotate right side. Or like my ball can walk on the supports on the right.
Yeah, okay. So let's say that you're here, and that's the same thing, right? Where it's like, okay, if I blink out, then it's fine. And let's say that, like you position somewhere like right here. Does the exact same thing, can your team do pretty much the exact same thing?
What do you mean, like walk away?
Yeah, like do whatever the heck they want to do. Because they're, realistically speaking, not many people are in really bad positions right now. Like, they're going to be fine. The soldier's going to be fine, like, pretty much no matter what. And you're not going to help change anything like that if this guy does something stupid, right? Brig, iffy, but she's playing with the soldier probably to stop the monkey dive, so she's fine, right? Ball is also kind of fine. Kiriko is a little bit probably the imposter here in terms of her positioning, but in reality, I mean, it's Kiriko. She's not going to die anyway, right? Your entire team is kind of fine. You like this space. You like this spot. The last thing that you want to do is have the enemy team realize that this is a threat. You don't want them to clear you out of a spot like this because then they will just prepare for you to come back. We don't want that. What we want, and especially we don't want to, force blinks or risk the potential of us having to have our recall forced here. Like if this cash just swings the corner and then hits like a flashbang on the corner, right? We don't want to run that risk. So here's the kind of point that I was trying to make. Right? Playing in a staging position like this is like way too close. We're going to get cleared out, and you kind of know we're going to get cleared out, but your brain is probably like, fine. I'm not going to get punished for it anyway. But every single game that you play, if you really want to improve and rank up and you really want to win, you're going to be playing like you're playing against, like, you know, OWCS Grand Finals Map 5 against, you know, Prime Crazy Raccoon. That's what you're playing against right now, right? Like, this guy, this is freaking Lip, right? Do you think Lip is going to let you live here? Right?
But no.
No. So if you want to be able to play against Lip, you're not going to play in a position that Lip is going to be able to punish. So what you're going to do is you're going to play here. And the reason why you play here is that it becomes the same pretty much effective distance from the enemy as like the rest of your team in their staging, right? So right now where you're at, if you were playing like right here, you know, hypothetically, you would be too close. Right? Because the rest of your team is out here. So by the time they went in here and pushed you out, if your team tries to make rotations to take space, they're not really realistically speaking, going to have, you know, enough time to make significant enough rotation to matter, you know, for the expense of losing this space over here, right? So they are too far away to be able to punish the enemy team for trying to push you. If you play farther back, like let's say like right here, the amount of time it's going to take for these guys to run this way in order to push you, right? Your team off the back of this is going to be able to take enough space to be able to shoot them in the back. Right? So now they have to, if you're here, they don't have to make a decision. They just walk on you. If you're over here, they have to decide, do we walk on the Tracer? Do we walk on the Kiriko? Do we walk on the Soldier? Who do we walk on? What do we do? And that decision makes it harder because no matter what they choose, they're going to have consequences either way. Right? That's what good staging does. That's what good staging gives you. And the best way of doing that is by keeping that distance, not staging too close. Right? If your team gets closer, like if your Soldier inches up closer, your Kiriko inches up closer, your Ball inches up closer, which I mean he's not going to inch up realistically speaking, he's just going to like full send it straight through. But if these guys get closer, then that means, oh, I can get a little bit closer too. Oh, I can get a little bit closer too, and now I'm here. You got what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. Does that make sense? Is there any questions about that?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Right? Because you got hit with the Bastion bomb, whatever. Again, because it's just like, okay, you were trying to walk in here and get the health pack, and then you got bombed. I mean, like, whatever happens. Right? Now, your ball is in, but these guys kind of rotate out here this way. Right? And kind of, you know, clear this way away from you. So you're like, oh, man, so I guess that means I should have positioned closer here so that way they wouldn't have been able to kite away from me, right? But then if you also look at your team, what did they do? Oh, this Kiriko just like rotated back this way, right? So is that distance still being maintained?
Yeah.
Right? So the situation really didn't change. These guys are just kind of flipping map to a small degree, right? So, right, realistically speaking, the thing that's the problem though is that you took Bastion bomb damage and your ball is like 1 HP, and I don't know what he was doing, but again, I'm not coaching him, right? But, okay. Right. So, again, blink, use cover here. If you're going to try and, you know, inch up on this, beat happens, kind of back off and chill. Fine. But you kind of went in a little bit too aggressively without, you know, a good trigger, right? Like there's no real trigger for you kind of engaging here other than, oh, they have, you know, space that I like, right? But ball's not in, these guys aren't in, so you probably shouldn't be in yet. So this is poor timing, which is going to waste your recall here. Okay. Right. But now, if you look at the situation, right, you went in early, you recalled. Okay. Now what happened to the distance? Right.
Monkey closed it.
Right. Monkey gap closed. Lucio's going to gap close with Bastion. They're going to be on top of your backline. Is this the time that you want to really be doing things right now?
Yeah.
Yes. Problem is that you just popped your recall and you're still 1 HP and you're still all the way over here in Narnia. Right? And the reason why is because you went in on a bad engage earlier, right? Wrong timing. Now where you're at. Now when does your team need you, right? Okay. Team is dead. Team is cooked. Right. Yeah, no, you're not. It's not happening. I was holding on for hope too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fortunate.
Right. Again. Oh my goodness. Okay. This ball is your duo. Can you just like, just for the sake of my OCD, just please tell this man to just wait for his team to like go in for his hits.
Yeah, he loves the troll.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Right. But then again, if we kind of look at, you know, his perspective here too, right? Right. Like, again, why is it that he loses all of his resources here for like, and there's two reasons for this. What do you think those two reasons are?
He went in too early and he stayed too long.
Right. He went in too early and, you know, he did stay too long, but realistically, he probably shouldn't have been in here in the first place. So one in too early is one of them. But if we were talking about the same principles that we were talking about with the staging, what is the distance between, you know, him and the enemy team looking like compared to the distance between the rest of your team and the enemy?
I mean, we're very far away still. I think
Yeah.
it's still just going in too early.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. But I was just trying to explain this, like, that going in too early was the mistake. But if we look at the mechanics of said mistake, we can see that distance is realistically the issue, because why is this distance a problem? Why is us not being in the area a problem for him? What can the enemy team do now?
I mean, they can all just shoot at him without any threat anywhere else.
Right. So it means that they can all just come and just, you know, send 3, 4, 5 people just to clear out a ball and then suffer zero consequence for it. If you're ever in a situation in game where you're getting cleared out by 3 people, right, and the enemy has no consequence at all attached to that decision, then it either means that your teammates are the worst teammates possibly imaginable, right, which happens sometimes, unfortunately. I mean, I'm an Overwatch player too. I know that happens, right? Or you were probably staging wrong, right? This is one of those situations where this timing is really bad, but it's also looking at the distance that gives us the big picture as to why the timing is so poor and what that actually means for the enemy team to be able to do. I just wanted to say that a little bit more, just so that I can, you know, keep hammering it in Ski's face. Right.
Yeah, I'll have to tell him.
Right. But I don't think it's just him, right? Because you're also about to do something here a little bit too, right? Okay. You have Pulse Bomb. You think, oh, it's fine. I can get away with this, right? No, that's not what we should be thinking. That's not what we should be thinking, right? And here's the thing. And the reason why I'm saying this, like, you're like, oh, like Pulse Bomb, I could just like force a whole bunch of CDs and resources. Once those CDs are forced, because this BAP is going to lamp, right? Once those CDs are forced, what is going to be the punishment for the BAP lamping here? Where's the punishment coming from?
Walk man with Kitsune.
Yeah, we
I just went too early there, probably.
Right. We could, exactly, but like in this current moment, we're not here yet. We're not here to be able to walk in with Kitsune, right? So we went too early. Again, another timing issue. We're not able to walk in with Kitsune, right? And so it's going to be like, it's just going to be another one of those situations where, okay, this sucks. Now, what happens if your team is here, right, and is fighting with people, and then you try to chuck Pulse Bomb on people, right? What's going to change?
That's fine.
Right, that's fine, because again, your team is going to be able to like punish that. But not only is that fine, it's going to be another situation where it's like, and it's gonna be another situation where it's like, okay, even if the Pulse Bomb misses, even if I don't really get the damage from that, I'm still here. I'm still in the position to keep dealing damage, and I can just keep doing damage. Or I can just shoot Pulse Bomb at somebody, right? So then start shooting at someone else, and then that's how I get 3-4 kills in a fight, all right? Team's not there though, so you can't do that. So just wait. Okay. And then this is also just another problem, right? You already had like the staging position. You already had the option to kind of stage over here. Just stay here. Stay on this angle. Don't compress the angle anymore. Right. Right. Not even like shoot at a monkey for like 3 seconds, because now your team is in, right? And again, where are you at?
Not in.
Right. So now this is the opposite situation where your team is going in real deep and you're not there to be able to do anything. Right? There's not this game really doesn't have anything to do with timing. Timing really is just a measurement of distance realistically between players in this game. Right. Sometimes you'll hear people talk about like, oh, this comp needs to play fast, or oh, this comp needs to play slow in terms of tempo. And those things rarely matter, rarely ever matter. Right. Most of the time, it's just what does the distance situation look like? How are they able to close that distance effectively? And at what point does that distance change? Right. Okay. Okay, and then I'm not gonna say anything more about that one. Okay, team here, team here. Okay, you're here, you're staging here, right? Now this is a little bit closer, but they don't necessarily know that you're here yet, so this is fine. What's the timing looking like?
Team is far away.
Right, team's far away, so poor timing. 30 people can come and look at you and force you out. Recall's already out. Right? So now that they are starting to focus on the rest of your team, right? You're not able to go in as deep as you want to because you're still scared of getting poked out because you don't have recall. Right? Right? Like if I had recall here, I just walk in this Bap's face. Well, not literally, but I mean, right? Like you just push on them really easily. But right now you can't. Okay, I'm just gonna skip over this a little bit, or actually no, I think you go back here. Okay. Beat. Right. Now, in terms of distance this way, and in terms of what's happening, do you think that this is a good time to go in right now?
No.
No. But do you think it's going to be a really good time to go in really soon?
Yeah.
Right. So.
Well, I mean, however long it takes my ball to get in.
Yeah. So, but whenever they're probably going to start pushing really soon off the rally, especially since we just got the pick on the Lucio. So we're going to have to be trying to like kind of walking in. They're going to be walking in. We're going to wait until the enemy team is like going to be engaged with these guys coming in through main, and then that's when we're going to start the sandwich. So that means that no matter what we do, even if we don't kill anything, as long as we're taking attention away from the people in front line, then that's good. If we're not taking attention away from the people in front line, then that means that we can get the kills that we want. So they're just caught in a catch-22, right?
Yeah, I think I blinked in here too because I wanted to stop the cart push because I knew we were probably going to win this fight.
Right.
So I didn't give them any more space.
And I saw that earlier. I just don't think that it was worth. I think that the Val. I mean, I guess so because it's like the cart's going really deep in on this map, so it kind of sucks. You're in a kind of a sucky situation, but at the same time, like it was very unlikely that you were going to be able to kind of hit that push because none of your team was really on a sufficient off angle to actually make the fight work. All we had was just a bunch of ults and buttons, right? Just that alone is not going to get you through a choke space, right? You're going to need some form of some other angle, some second angle, so that you can divert attention away from it. And the thing is, you were that angle, right? So if you go in and then waste all of your resources and CDs before the fight even starts, then that means that you've kind of just lost the ability to start the fight until you get back, right? So I understand the reasoning behind it. It's just probably going to be a sucky, event either way. Right? Like this. I like this. Like that. Okay. Okay. The fact that he almost got a kill there. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, another situation where it's like, what's the next step here? Right? Like, you don't need to be on cart right now. You've got a Kiriko. Kiriko can be on cart, and if she gets dove, she can TP out. Right? What's the next step? Where are we staging for this? Where's the next fight going to be?
Probably under either under bridge or close to it, or maybe they'll try to push high ground and the fight will be high ground. So I should probably stage top left
Right. Okay. So we're gonna.
so I can scout them,
Right.
and if they walk me in, I can wrap behind or just drop.
Okay. So you can you stage top left, scout this way, stage here, scout main. Right. See what see what the heck they're going to do. See where they're going to be. What's going to happen. Right. If they go left side, what do you do?
And then I just back a little bit, and then play like underneath the stairs or wrap left side.
Okay. I think I like wrapping left side because that means that that creates another off angle. If I just like back up a little bit, then I mean, right, it's not going to give you perfect staging because you don't really have that angle part down, right? So let's see what your team does first, right? So they're going to go main. Your team is going to focus on pushing cart. You being up here, and you probably would go and say, okay, I'm just going to stay up here, and I'm just going to see what the heck is going to happen. And then now that would let you have the ability to stage for a dive once your ball goes in and gets in there. All right. Or do this. Perfect. All right, perfect. I don't care that they primaled. I don't care that they lamped that. Like, that's primal and lamp out immediately off of what? One blink and a pulse bomb? Like, that's huge. Big trade. And you get the pick off of that too. Right? Good job. Congratulations. All right. Now what do you do?
I think I blink on the Bastion, but I mean, I could even wrap left side around on the Lucio. Like, we have time here to work with to win the fight.
Right. It's not only that we
much
have
speed.
time. It's not only that we have time. We need time, right? If we kind of just like hard int right now because like, oh no, we got a pick. Let's go. Let's push it. Is anyone really in position to do anything off of that right now besides like maybe the Soldier 76?
No.
No. So this is a time where you would want to wait, right? Even though you got the pick, wait. We still have the advantage. Like, we still have card advantage. They're going to have to push into us. Let's find a different setup that we can use here, right? Right. Okay. Now let's kind of look at timing, right? What's happening in the fight currently? Kiriko popping kits. Did she pop Kitsune into the wall?
Unlucky.
Oh my gosh.
2-foot Kitsune.
Right. Okay, so Kiriko popped an average sized Kitsune down mid. All right.
Yeah.
Soldier's getting like walked on by a Winston. Brig's gonna be helping. Your your ball is kind of hitting the slam. So is being on this Bastion right now a good idea?
Yeah, I think it's fine. I probably should have turned cast though. It's a much higher chance of killing him.
I think no. Actually, I think that this is better, right? Because again,
Really?
well, okay. Let's kind of weigh the options here, right? Where if like, okay, I jump on the cast, and then sure, we've got ball and Tracer like shooting at a cast. Then Bastion's just going to come back and start shooting at us from main. So and then how long is it going to take for us to get all the way up here to go and deal with Bastion? So right now, I'm shooting at Bastion, keeping the Bastion away from shooting at me and Ball, right? Ball's going to go and slam on Cass. We're going to be dealing damage to Cass. I'm going to be dealing damage to Bastion. If I get the kill on Bastion, then I just drop on Cass. Right? Gravity is free.
My thought would just be like if we're both split, like there's a chance that Cass kills Ball or Bastion kills me, and then like we could lose the fight. But if we both stay on like the cast here, then he for sure dies, and we both should live.
Right, but
and then like we'll have time to kill the Bastion.
Okay, but at the same time, if then it's kind of the same logic, the similar logic there, where it's like if both you and Ball dive on the cast, sure the cast dies, but in the time frame that the cast is dying, Bastion could be like turret form shooting at Ball, both you and Ball, maybe getting a pick on you, forcing your C days and forcing Ball out, right? And then maybe helping with shooting at the Soldier up here, and then he might get traded out, right? When it comes to things like that. When it comes to things like that, where it's like, oh, there's a whole bunch of things that are happening in the fight, and we're like, oh, we need to focus this target, and it's going to die. Pressure is pressure. It's always going to wrap around to every single hero in the lobby, no matter what you do, right? And it's just going to be like, it's going to be a situation where if you're pressuring this and someone else is pressuring this, or if you're both pressuring this in some way, in all intents and purposes, most of the time it's going to be the same amount of pressure. The only thing that's going to change is if it's off, is if off angles are involved, is if effective range differences are involved, right? Or if somebody is just not in the fight, like if this Bastion was just like out here or something like that and was just not able to contribute at all, then obviously I'm not going to go and chase this Bastion around the map. I'm going to go and fight what's in front of me. You get what I mean? So if those three things aren't kind of really involved in the situation, pressure's pressure. Just shoot something. If Bastion's easier to shoot than Cass, or Cass is easier to shoot than Bastion, then shoot whatever's easiest. This is fine. We like this. Ball came back, not Ball, my goodness. Lucio came back to help Bastion. Sure, we leave, but at least we force the positional commitment of the Lucio to come and help with the Bastion, and Cass dies, guaranteed either way, right? And now Winston's out. So, this is fine. Okay, be careful, right? Be careful. This space is still, it's not perfectly, you know, open areas. There's a little bit more cover to work with over here. But again, still be careful about anyone who's coming back this way and respawning or something of that nature, right? Still be careful. I like this. Don't really like this, right? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, played in good space. So over here, be careful. Over here, good space. Just sit, just wait, stage, maybe go up high ground, you know, stage up here, shoot this, right? If you get here, I'm not saying this because I'm like, oh, you know exactly where this is. It's just that this is a good spot for you either way, so it doesn't matter if he's here or not, right? I don't like sitting out here because, again, this isn't your space. Something like this can shoot you in the face, and then you could die. Or you could risk dying, right? Because the higher up you go, this is going to shoot you at the exact same time that this and this will, and you're not going to have the time to react, right? So make sure that you minimize that possibility as much as possible. Right? Again, you know, be careful. I don't like forcing this. I don't like forcing this at all, right? Just take the space, chill until you find an opportunity or an opportunity comes to you, right? It's okay to not do anything as long as you're keeping up the ability to actually do things later. That's fine. But this is forcing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And see how you kind of really didn't do much that fight.
Yeah.
Right. When in reality, all we realistically needed to do was just go up here, then this will happen, you'll be able to shoot at these things, and then, you know, or like you don't even need to like full like shoot at Baptiste or Winston up here. You can honestly just like kind of like look at this, poke at them, and then just like hold the space. Or if you feel like you can go for it, you can go for it and you can try to get the pick. As long as you're not going into this sightline, then you're fine, right? But that was going into that sightline. This is outside of your effective range against Bastion, right? So he gets the hit on you, you force recall. This is still outside of your effective range, but you're still here, so you blink back in here. But now you have no HP and you haven't done anything in the fight yet. Okay. Okay. Right. So that was another point for, you know, where you're taking fights. Okay. Again, timing. Let's look. Where's team? Right? All the way back here. Far away. We don't need to do this. We can just use the fact that they're walking away from me to now take extra space and just hold in stage, because the value of space is going to be the same thing as the value of the pressure potential you're going to have later, right? So if I am taking more space from the enemy team, I'm just getting free pressure. That's how I'm thinking about this. That's how you should be thinking about this too. Right? Not time yet. And again, so timing a little bit better. Stage, you're kind of staging a little bit closer than the rest of your team is. Your ball is staging this way. Like, but there's really two problems with your staging here, right? What are the two problems with your staging here?
Cass can swing me, and then I have no cover anywhere.
Right.
And I'm going quicker than my ball is, so they can look at me before like getting distracted or any follow-up damage.
Yeah. Okay. So you're outside in the open, so not your space, right? And you're too close to the enemy team, so the Cass can just swing on you and clear you out for free. Like when a lot of people talk about having trouble with counters, this is the thing that counters are going to punish the most, right? Counter picks will punish really, really poor staging, especially from Tracer the most, especially when it comes to the Cass and Tracer matchup. Cass is really good at punishing Tracer's poor staging. If Tracer has really good, strong staging and really good, strong under awareness of where to take fights, then it's going to be a lot harder for Cass to be able to do anything about that, right? But this right here, this instance right here, this is where Cass counters Tracer. You know, not Tracer space, too close, so he has nothing else better to do. Okay, and again, you keep going back in to try and go in with your ball, but it still doesn't work. Where else could you have staged? Easy question.
Walk far left.
All right. Sit here. If this guy spends all the time required to try and hard force you out, your team's probably going to be in, especially your ball's probably going to be in. Your soldier already has this strong angle either way. Right, so he's pretty much cheating. He doesn't even have to move to get, you know, better staging from this. He can just kind of unpeak if he doesn't want to deal with anything, and then he just peaks right here, and he's already in the fight. He doesn't have to do any inching up at all, right? Which is why another reason why I don't like hit scan that much. But we're not. That's a conversation for another time. Right here. Distance, similar distance. Once the fight starts, if this guy kind of tries to go way over here and try and push you out, he is no longer contributing to the fight once it starts. If he doesn't decide to do that, then it gives you pre-staging to do what? What does it give you staging to do?
Close space.
Right. How? Come on, you got this.
Wait, sorry, what was the question?
Okay, so if he pushes you, it allows your team to go in. If he doesn't push you, it gives you the room to do what?
A walk left?
Walk left, right. And why is this, again, better than trying to just hard engage on backline from here?
I can't be marked by Cass, so a lot safer, and I have more cover on the left.
Exactly. This is my space. This isn't. Right?
Yeah.
Right. So again, timing, and so it's staging, timing, where you're taking fights. So map awareness, right? Staging, timing, map awareness. That's the same three things that we've been talking about the whole time, and that's explaining every single thing that you're doing wrong and everything that you need to do right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Again, too far. We need to close distance. But how? Like this. But is this too close right now? Kind of. A little bit. So, actually, no, it's not, because they're just going to be inting onto your team anyway. So, at this point, it's really not too close. And I think that, especially after the cast hits the roll here, then you know that you can probably make this rotation, right? If the cast kind of like was still able to do this and if your ball got pushed out, then don't. So, this is kind of more of like a gamble situation. You're betting on if your ball gets pushed out or not. But if your ball doesn't get pushed out, then like take the space. And then you can use that to stage for free, right? Again, you don't do that. Now you're 1 HP, and then you hit the recall to get some HP back. But, again, right. Okay. And your ball died way too late. All right. Now, let me ask you this here. When it comes to you versus this Winston, let's, instead of, put heroes aside, right? If we look at just the kind of staging dynamics of this, right, where we're talking about distance between, yourself and the rest of your team, right? How close are you in comparison to the rest of your team to this Winston?
Very close. I mean, I still feel like this is fine, though, because I have pulse.
Right. Okay. Wait. Before we consider that, how close is this Winston in comparison to the rest of his team to you?
Very far away.
He's very far away. So he is very far away. You're very far away. It doesn't really matter what either of you team kind of is doing. They could be going in Narnia doing whatever the heck they want. This is a 1v1 scenario where you're fighting for this space. You don't have to worry about teams in this regard because his team can't follow up. Your team can't follow up, so it's just a 1v1. This is a duel, right? Now, in this situation, this kind of duel situation, if we look at the space, this is kind of a space where both of you are going to be really strong. The thing is, he's got the tank advantage. right? You can hit a pulse bomb. He's 97 to primal, right? So it's like, okay, let's see what happens. Is it realistic? But do you want to like leave this space? Let me just ask you, what do you feel about the idea of leaving this space?
I don't think I should.
Why?
Well, this is good for me to drop on their backline and like play the window, and then if they push to the corner, I can play above them left side.
Right. So this
above
is
the bus.
yeah, this is a really good spot for you, right? But like, what else? What's the other reason why you don't want to give it the space?
So their monkey can't stage.
Right, because it's a really, really good spot for Winston too. Right. So if you let this Winston stage for free, then he doesn't have to use any resources before he gets onto your backline. If you stop this Winston staging already from here, then now if I can shoot at this Winston, I can just like do whatever the heck I want to do to shoot at this Winston, and then that's going to be fine that's going to stop him from being able to go and dive straight onto my backline. Even if I back off of this angle eventually, which I probably am going to, right? If I force monkey CDs, then it means that he's going to have a harder time extending into my backline and killing 6 people. Right. And Monkey even left because he just didn't want to get his CDs forced. Right. Okay. Okay. Right. Problem.
Oh, this was unfortunate.
Right. Well, was it really unfortunate if we kind of think
Well,
about
what's
it?
about to happen to me is that I just went in too early too.
Yeah. And a lot of these unlucky and unfortunate situations are a lot of the time results of our kind of poor setup of the situation, right? If the situation was set up a little bit better, it makes it a lot less likely for these things to happen. This sucked, sure, right? But again, Cass had the mental bandwidth to be able to hit the flashbang because he wasn't focusing on anything else, right? So that's just another thing that you kind of have to consider. But in reality, I'm wondering what the heck your ball did. He just decided not to engage on that.
Yeah. I think he was trying to peel for supports instead of trading backlines with me.
Oh yeah, no, that's just the dumbest idea ever, right? Like that's, if there's a perfect wrong answer of what you could be doing here, that's probably it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Peeling is one thing it's hard to do, and it's most majority of the time not going to be a great thing, because it's not the dive threats themselves that are going to be what's going to kill your backline. It's the support from these guys that are going to be what's going to kill your backline, right? Because this is going to allow the enemy dive threat to kind of do whatever the heck they want. The main goal, if you're trying to go against, to peel off some dive that's happening on backline, is going to be to stop these guys from doing anything. And if these guys are already not into a position to which they can do anything, it means that this guy's heavily overextended, and then you just punish them. That's the only time in which you peel, right? When they are just overextending themselves. If they're not overextending themselves, then going back and doing this to peel for your supports leaves you open to just dying here, and stops you from being able to have this really, really good setup to hit, because you want to hit this team before they get the long range angle, right?
Yeah.
I like the idea of the pulse if your ball actually kind of went in. I don't like the idea of the pulse going in like solo, and this was really funny. I'm sorry, I kind of had a laugh at this.
Yeah.
All right, and then at this point, shoot this way. Okay, but again, we have to look. We really have to look. Is this a good timing for you to kind of go in right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to. Your ball's already doing something, right? Your brig was doing something, and your soldier was doing something just a second ago, right? Now they're 6 feet under, but they're at least doing death right now. They're dying, right? So Kiriko is also going in. Love that skin, by the way. But right here in this situation, like. So you're kind of going in on this Bastion too. Nobody else is able to really pay attention to you significantly, so it's fine, right? What about now?
Now I should be chilling.
Right.
Turning Lucio.
Right. Because this moved.
My ball's leaving.
This moved, and you need to be able to identify that really, really fast. Is that easy to do? No, you're playing Tracer. Have fun playing a hard hero. And to be honest, actually, it's not even really just a Tracer fundamental. This is a fundamental for every hero. But this is kind of going to be difficult to do sometimes. You need to know exactly when you start to, doing things, and then when you need to stop. Now that your ball is out, you need to stop. So you need to have the ability to pay attention to what your ball is doing on his engage, while also being able to pay attention to deal damage with his passion. Is that easy? No. But I mean, you're playing Tracer. And right now, I'm assuming that this is high rank. Okay. Oof. This is... I'm just kind of... It's unfortunate. You just got hit with Lucio and then you got pincered by Monkey on his dive this way. Whatever. And then I think we're going to see a couple seconds of Bastion gameplay. One tip, you want to try to go in turret form and spawn and then spin as fast as you can while shooting. That's going to be extra troll factor, just so you're
Okay.
right. Yeah.
I'll write that one down.
Okay. So, looking at what we've done here, right? Looking at what we've done. Let me see if I can do a little... Aha. Oh, no, never mind. That kind of sucks. Wait. Oh, no. I can't do that. Wait, hold on. Aha! Okay. Let me push this back. And, yeah, there we go. Okay. So now I'm going to try to write, and let's hope that my writing system actually works. Yes, can you see that on the screen?
Yep.
All right. Perfect. Now, let me just do this real quick. Right. We're going to do 1, 2, 3. Okay. We're going to have 3 things. We're going to look at 3 things we're going to work on. You're going to tell me what those 3 things are. Go. What are 3 things that you can work on from this?
Biggest one, picking better spots to stage.
Okay.
Like closer angles, stuff like that.
Right. Or I'll just say staging. Go on. What about what's something else?
Timing, making sure I'm not going in early.
Okay. Timing. Right. And what's a third one?
We go with maybe blink usage
Okay.
and pulsing, especially like not using blinks and recall after, trying to just hopefully
Okay.
just use blinks.
All right. Let's just say resource use.
Yeah.
Right. Boom. Okay. Let's break these down into parts. Right. What parts can you get for staging?
Picking angles that can help me get onto them like better with more cover.
Okay. So you just said 2 things. You said angle. Right. And you said close range. Right? So we want a place that is close range, right? A close, tight space that also gives me an angle that I want, right? And then there's a third really, really important thing to staging that we talked about a lot here. It's kind of tied in with timing. But more importantly, when you're
similar
not
distance
timing.
to the rest of my team.
Right. Okay. Similar. Oh my goodness, I cannot write. Spacing as team. Right? So those are going to be the 3 things that you're going to work on when you're trying to work on your staging, right? Now let's see when we're working on timing. What's the big thing that's going to be defining your timing?
Similar spacing.
Okay. I guess the similar spacing. That's more of a staging thing, I would say. That's more of a staging thing. But what's the big thing that you need to be looking for when you're trying to go in?
Looking at my tank, seeing when they're going in, or like looking at the rest of my team in general.
Right, team in general. Where's my team? And no, it is not just your tank. It is based off of your entire team as a whole. If it was just based off of your tank, it would mean that your tank was not feeding at all this game, right? All right.
That is not the case.
That is not the case. I am so sorry, Ski. We kind of bullied you. Why do you have two skis? You've got two skis? Well, I mean, of course. How the
Yeah,
heck
that's
are you
kinda
supposed
crazy.
to? How are you supposed to do skiing if you don't have two skis?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I guess. Yeah, and also you need a flame whale as well. I know that makes sense. Um, but where's
Mhm.
your team? And knowing where your team is, again, sorry, Ski, but we're you know, it was funny, so it worked out.
Yeah.
And going off of that, just additionally, I think there was another thing that we kind of talked about when it was timing, where it wasn't necessarily that we always had to be using that opportunity, that timing to do pressure, right? You
Oh
can
yeah.
kind of pressure or kind of take space.
It's like do something.
So pressure or rotate, right? So you can do both. It gives you the opportunity to kind of rotate. You don't want to be rotating all the time when pressure is happening, but if you want to make a really, really greedy rotation, a lot of the times you're going to need at least like some form of soft hit first, right?
Mhm.
Okay, and then when it comes to your resource use, especially your blinks, what are we going to do with that?
Honestly, just like think about them more.
Okay.
Like I get into the habit of like autopiloting like during fights and stuff, which leads to me using a lot of blinks and like giving more respect than I should.
Yeah. No, this is really powerful actually. Just just actually thinking about your cooldowns. Sometimes that like and that's something that you do need to practice too. It's not necessarily like some, cow answer of just saying, "Oh, I just got to think about it." No, no, it's actually very important. So I'm glad that you kind of said that. But what's another thing that we can kind of think about when it comes to our resource use? What's another thing we can think about? Like more
Sorry,
specifically.
someone's talking to me.
Oh, okay.
Um, Wait, what's something we could talk about with resource use, you said?
Yeah, a little bit more specific.
Um, I don't know really. Like the biggest thing for me is just like making sure I'm thinking about it more and like not like one thing that makes me so I use resources poorly is blinking into them or like into bad space, which then forces me to fix my mistake. So that kind of ties into everything else though. Just like making less mistakes will help fix other stuff too.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. 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 And I'll tie that in here. Actually, I think that this is really, really good for your resource use. So, okay. So, yeah, play in your space, right? And one
Hmm.
thing I'm just gonna add just a little bit at the bottom is just gonna be like saying blink or recall, right? Which is just me saying, like, if you're going to use your recall, don't try and waste like 30 blinks first. Don't stack them on top of each other if you can, right? Try and use the recall and then use blinks afterward if you feel like you need to. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I guess one question I have for that is I default to using blinks first because blinks are less important than recall. So
Right.
like if I'm taking a bit of damage or something, I'll like instantly blink without even thinking about it just to try to avoid damage.
Right.
But then I realize I'm low health and then I use the recall. Is there any way to just use recall first or like is that
Yeah.
just gonna happen?
No, no, no. It's no. That's again. That's something that we need to practice because again, the way that we stop that autopilot system from taking over is with that intention, is with that intent focus of like being like, okay, right. I'm going to. Especially the first step is recognizing how often it happens, and now you're kind of going to be a little bit more primed to recognize it, right? But once you start recognizing it, you're going to be like, okay, I've been doing this too much. I'm going to focus on not. Oh my goodness. That was bad. I just burped and then my food just came up my esophagus. Oh goodness. Acid reflux. We love it. All right. So we're gonna talk. So what I was trying to say is that like we're gonna focus on. I'm gonna say okay. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm gonna focus on just recalling first, right? Or like if you think that you're not gonna need a recall, and that you don't use the recall and then you kind of blink, then that's fine. But I don't want you to blink off reflex if you know you're going to need a recall, right? So you need to be able to identify when you know that you're going to need a recall, and then you need to be able to just stop to kind of put the brakes on your brain's automatic, like I need to blink away, I need to blink away, I need to blink away. And the best way that you're going to do that is just with deliberate focus, right? your autopilot systems slow down when your focus and your actual effortful thinking increases. So that's just going to be the way that you're going to go about doing that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any other questions?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Are you writing these down, or are you going to screenshot them or something like that?
You said you're recording, right?
Yes. In fact, because I've been having a little bit of issues with the recording lately. I'll just like take a little, snippet of this, and I'll send it to you, so that you can at least know for certain that you have it, right? But I
Okay.
will
Thank you.
probably be posting this video. Okay. Right. Now, let me get into. Let me start thinking about this. You were telling me to guess the rank here, right? I normally
Mm-hmm.
don't like guessing too high, but from what I've seen, especially from not just you, but the rest of like the rest of the team in general, I'm thinking that it was going to be a high rank. And the things that are going to kind of cue me in on this is that you kind of had a really decent understanding of the game already. You kind of understood a lot of the things in the concepts I was saying pretty quickly, right? You were asking your own individual questions about certain things that indicated that you had a decent understanding of the game already. So that's kind of one clue. The next clue is that you have an understanding of timing. You have an understanding of playing coordinated with your ball. You just don't know how to actually execute that yet, and this is kind of helping you with doing so, right? So there's going to be that aspect of it. But then again, if I look at how the teams were playing, like a lot of people were playing a really good, well to their effective range, right? There's a couple ints maybe from both tanks, but apart from that, people were kind of had pretty decent ideas of what they needed to do. So I'm going to assume high rank. I don't want to overshoot this, but I'm going to maybe assume low GM.
Okay. That's the
Okay.
highest rank any coach has ever thought I was. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, wow, you're welcome.
Most of the time they guess like high plat, like diamond.
Right, right. The reason
This
why,
game I was. Oh wait, sorry. You can
right?
go.
No, no, okay. I was going to say the reason why I say that is because of the fact that I can see, even though that you weren't necessarily executing really well, I can see the intent behind a lot of your decisions, right? There was intent behind
Mm-hmm.
everything. It's just that the intent was kind of skewed by the fact that you weren't necessarily preparing the best for doing and executing on a lot of these things. But this is kind of a common issue that happens. Plus, there's a whole bunch of GM players that I coach that do not look GM at all. So I'm like,
Yeah.
my perception of GM has already been oriented to that of like, anybody could get there at this rate.
Yeah.
All right, but okay, you can go now. Let's see
All
how
right. All
well I
right.
did.
I was GM1 this game.
Oh man, I knew I shouldn't have lowballed it. I knew I shouldn't have lowballed it.
Yeah. I usually play hit scan though, so
Okay,
I've
okay.
been learning Tracer, or trying to at least.
Because I was thinking it was going to be a close to champion, but the probability of that happening, I was just thinking about the probability overall, and that's what kind of made me not go that way. I shouldn't
Yeah.
really have been thinking about that. I should probably have been going lower. But yeah, that was that. No, that was great. I was
Well,
honestly.
I'm champ 4 open queue. That counts.
No, we love to see it. We love to see it. Okay, but just so you know, especially if you play Hitscan, these concepts that we talked about, right, are besides like the blink or recall little thing at the bottom. These kind of things that we talked about are applicable to all heroes, right? And especially when we're
Hmm.
talking about staging and timing, those two are concepts that I'm going to be talking about universally all the time because they're always going to be important to everyone. It might look a little bit different staging from Tracer to staging on something else, but recently I had a replay. I recorded it, but the recording was kind of a little bit screwed up, so maybe I might only get like a little clip of it or two. But we talked about like Ramatra, a Ramatra player. I think this was what was this? Was this Masters or GM? I'm not entirely certain. I think it was Masters actually, right? Ramatra player, and we talked about staging on Ramatra and how that is supposed to work. And you could kind of tell that the gears were turning, where it's like, wait a minute, just because I'm not necessarily playing a dive hero doesn't mean that I shouldn't be planning for my next steps, right? Where it's like you need to be in positions that allow you to be able to do this. Now, when it comes to a dive hero, a lot of the positions that you're going to take are going to be more varied because you have the ability to close distance very rapidly. But the same, it just makes sense for heroes with less mobility too. You just play in positions that are, a little bit closer to the final position that you want, or you play or a little bit positions that are a little bit closer to the final position that you want, that gives you the sight line that you want. So you might not be playing as close on something like a hit scan. You would probably be playing a little bit farther away. And the benefits of that are that you can be extremely far and then immediately be able to kind of go into the fight and be able to contribute to the fight very quickly and very easily. Again, I don't like hit scan that much, but
Yeah.
right. No, it's okay. Me not liking hit scan is me being biased because I'm a Pharah player. But I mean, other than that,
Oh yeah, I play a lot of Pharah. My peak rank, it was ever I hit on Pharah.
oh, that's nice. That's nice. That's nice. Yeah. I played Pharah a while ago, back when I actually, I still kind of play Pharah, but I'm like giga washed now, so don't expect me to like, right, just show anything like about that. I did an unranked GM on Pharah a while back, and that was fast, but that was also when like the rank system was kind of broken, where it's like it just instantly just starts shooting you up in rank for like no reason. I don't know what that kind of era was, but
Yeah.
yeah, no. But it was the thing is, I'm pretty good at Pharah. At least I think so myself. I know Pharah from like front to back. But
I don't really play much Pharah anymore.
it's like the reason I'm saying all this is because when I'm playing against hitscan, I know I can play well into hitscan. Playing like especially when the enemy team goes double hitscan, it's honestly like a throw, right? But if
Yeah,
I'm
playing into like a good tracer though, that
right.
it's just like impossible.
Yeah, no, it totally is. I'm telling you, Tracer is like going to be one of the bigger Pharah counters, 100%. Oh my gosh, right? Because again, it's not just forcing you out. Because again, you have the hit scans to force you out of the sky, but if you have the Tracer to force you off the ground, then you have nowhere to go, right? Not only that, it's also like, okay, if I'm playing against hit scans, I could just play in like close quarters space, like on an off angle. But if the Tracer's there and I can't fight that Tracer there, then again, nowhere to go in checkmate situation. Bro, oh my goodness, I played it. There's this one game that I played where it was like Tracer, like Ash or something, was some hit scan, Tracer, Ball, Mercy, and then I forgot what the other support was, but it was just abysmal. I think it was,
Yeah.
I don't know, it might have been a Baptiste, but yeah, I think at that point, that was the point where I was just like, all right, if I ever run into this comp again, I think I might just uninstall the game.
Yeah.
But, anyway, I'm saying all of this to say that like I'm going off on a huge tangent here, but I'm saying all of this to say that like, hit scan. The thing about hit scan is that you can control a long range sight line. You can't really control short range sight lines that well, which is where Tracer is very powerful, right? But the strength of that is that with hit scan, you can stage very easily and then control a lot of space, a whole lot of space on a sight line extremely quickly, right? Which is very powerful. So if you're going to be playing a lot more hit scan, kind of trying to utilize this, think about the distance between yourself and the enemy team. Think about how quickly you are to be able to kind of engage within the fight. And then timing for you doesn't necessarily look like closing the distance. All it looks like is peaking, right? Timing when you're peaking as well. That's an extremely important thing too. But yeah, no, 100%. These things are also hit scan fundamentals. There's tracer fundamentals. These are everything fundamentals. Go ahead and play with them and do a whole lot. I think I'm going to start ending the video here. Do you have any questions?
No, nothing else for me. If I think of anything, I'll DM you.
Okay. All right. I'm glad that I could at least guess within the actual rank itself. But
Thank you.
all right. I guess
Closest anyone's gotten by far.
Okay. Because I know what I'm talking about. Shameless plug.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but all right. I'm going to stop the recording here. If you want to say, goodbye to everybody who's watching, that would be great.
Goodbye. Thank you. Thank you so much. Great advice. Some of the best coaching I've had in a while.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Peace.